Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack today. I'm back with pack number 34 in my 1988 Topps Mini Leaders box. I'm trying to see how many packs I have to crack to get all 77 cards to complete the set. I've included the link to the preview video in the description below, which gives a little explanation on the set and the highlights of what I can pull in cracking these packs. Since each pack only has 7 cards on it, not on it, I will guess the category or categories that the player led their league, and then I'll flip it over to the back to see how right I was or how very bad my memory was of the 1987 MLB season. I've got my checklist out. We're down to the last 3 packs. I need 13 more cards to complete my set. Third set, sorry. I've completed sets 1 and 2. I need 13 more cards to complete set 3. I have 21 cards possible in the last 3 packs, and I can't have more than 8 quadruplicates. So let's crack the pack and see where it gets us. Gary Redus, that is a triplicate that I do need. So far, so good. Let's see how many other more triplicates I need to get my set. All right, so here we go. Let's get started with Roger Clemens. Looks like he is a triplicate that I need, so I'm going to mark that off. Clemens had a phenomenal 1987 season. In 1987, he struck out 20 batters in an inning against the Mariners. Was a league leader in victories, ERA, I think innings. I want to say strikeouts as well. Coming off of their 1986 devastating World Series loss, Clemens was lights out in 87. So he was a league leader. I got all 3 right. First in victories, second in strikeouts, third in ERA. He was first in complete games, first in shutouts, and second in innings pitched. Went 20-9, and like I said, struck out 20 Mariners in a game in 87. He would later do that in his career and become the only pitcher to do it twice in his career. Lou Whitaker, let's see here, I'm losing track of things, is another quadruplicate that we need, or sorry, triplicate. See, triplicate, quadruplicate, duplicate, getting all mixed up. Whitaker, I think, belongs in the Hall of Fame, along with his double play partner, Alan Trammell. Hopefully he'll get there with the Veterans Committee. For a long time, Lou Whitaker was, I guess you could say, the Robinson Cano of the American League in the 80s. Didn't hit quite as many home runs as Robinson Cano, but was a steady defender and decent hitter. I think in 87, Whitaker was a league leader, I want to say, in runs and doubles. Yep, third in runs with 110 and third in doubles with 38. Next up is Ozzie Smith. He's a quadruplicate, so a little bit of unfortune there, but nevertheless, Ozzie Smith is one of my favorite players, and I routinely forget what he was a league leader in 87. I'm going to say, I should remember these a lot better. I'm going to say runs and doubles. I don't think he was quite there in steals. So doubles with 40. That was good enough for second. Third in hits with 182. He did bat 303. 6th in walks, 7th in stolen bases, 8th in batting average, and 8th in runs. Smith was instrumental not only defensively but helping the Cardinals to the World Series in 87. Another interesting stat is Ozzie hit 0 home runs but had 75 RBI. I'm going to have to look up to see who holds the record for having 0 home runs and the most RBI in a season. Next up is Dwight Evans, another quadruplicate that we need. So far, so good. Smith was the only triple that we didn't need. Dwight Smith had a fantastic year in 1987. It's a wonder that the Red Sox didn't make it back to the World Series in 87. It was a crowded American League East with the Blue Jays, Tigers, Red Sox. Even the Brewers were having a decent year. The Blue Jays and Tigers battled down to the end of the year with the Tigers winning it on the last game of the season. But Dwight Evans, another I think should be Hall of Famer, was a league leader in home runs, RBI. He usually batted at the top of the lineup. In fact, I believe he hit a home run to lead off the 86 MLB season. Dwight Evans, once again, if Jim Rice is in the Hall of Fame, Dwight Evans should be in the Hall of Fame. If you compare their career stats, I actually think Evans has a higher WAR and is very comparable to Jim Rice in most of the home run RBI categories. The only thing that he's not as close in Jim Rice's batting average. Oh, dropping cards here. Dwight Evans was a league leader in RBI, as I said, on base percentage, home run, and runs. So I just missed on base percentage. And he was first in walks in the American League in 1987. Willie Wilson is another triplicate that we need. So looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident about getting set number 3. Wilson was a perennially underrated player in the late 70s, 80s, and through the 90s. He was the leadoff hitter for the Royals playoff teams in the late 70s. Went with the Royals to the World Series in 80 that lost to the Phillies. But then in 85 was part of their World Series winning team over my Cardinals. Wilson was always in the league in steals, runs, hits, on base percentage, and triples. Willie Wilson hit a lot of triples. So he was second in steals with 59 and first in triples with 15. Didn't quite get there with runs or hits, but solid, steady contributor to the Royals lineup and was defensively a good center fielder as well. Kirby Puckett is next up. He is another triplicate that we need. Puckett started to really come onto the scene in 1987. Was a great rookie in 85 and had a pretty solid second year in 86. 87 saw him make leaps and bounds in home run and RBI, but he wasn't quite the power hitter that he became later on in his career. Still high in average. Puckett was a lead leader, I believe, in 87 in doubles, hits, and batting average. So hits was first with 207, batting average 332, and he had 32 doubles. Wasn't quite enough to be a league leader. 87 was the year that the Twins beat my Cardinals in the World Series, and Puckett was a main reason in helping the Twins not only have successful playoffs, but beat my Cardinals. Later on, he would be a huge contributor in the Twins' 1991 World Series win. Final card out of the pack is Gary Redus. He is another triplicate that I need. Redus was really never a starter. I mean, he was a starter, but more of a platoon guy with the Pirates, Reds, and White Sox. I believe he was a league leader only in steals and no other category. He was third in stolen bases with 52. Mainly was, like I said, a platoon guy. He played around 100 to 130 games per year. The Red Sox gave him a starting job, but he didn't really pan out batting average-wise. Usually hit in the 230s to 240s, sometimes lower. But he was a speedy guy, and when on base, he could get a steal or two. Card out of the pack that I want to spotlight, or my favorite card out of the pack, I think I'm going to double it up with Dwight Evans. I've already done Ozzie Smith and Roger Clemens, and I think Willie Wilson. I'm going to double it up with Lou Whitaker and Dwight Evans and do my should be in the Hall of Fame rant. Both Dwight Evans and Lou Whitaker were really fantastic players. Dwight Evans was a great defensive outfielder and a very steady offensive contributor. I guess the main knock against Dwight Evans was he wasn't a league leader in many categories, but he was always at the top in quite a few categories. And it wasn't until Mike Greenwell came along that kind of forced Dwight Evans out of the Red Sox outfield. And he spent his last couple of years with the Orioles. Lou Whitaker spent his entire career with the Tigers. I think he gets lost in the shuffle because the end of his career was right as the power creep started to happen in baseball with steroids and many players hitting a ton of home runs. Whitaker, steady defender, great clubhouse presence, really should be in the Hall of Fame. And I look to see in future veteran committees both of these players getting their nod into the Hall of Fame. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Also share with me in the comments what your favorite card or what you thought was the best card in the pack. Until next time, when I'm back to crack the next pack of 1988 Topps Mini Leaders in my quest to complete set number 3.